Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Dragonheir video. I'd like to thank Dragonheir for making this channel possible. I do need to let you know that Dragonheir will no longer be running in the US as of the 16th of September, unfortunately. But let's get that out of the way. Now we're going to talk about the big reset. What do you expect from a seasonal reset in Dragonheir? What do you need to be aware of? What things stay, what things go? This definitely tears the player base in half in terms of loving it and hating it, in terms of, you know, sometimes you've got that awesome thing, awesome item, awesome artifact, which is going to be reset. Some people just don't know what actually is going to come at the end of a season reset. You know, what resources should you spend as soon as you can, and what resources should you store for the next season coming up. So let's go through it all in this video, and yeah, let's just kick straight on. So I guess the biggest one that people want to know about is their heroes. What's going to happen? Or I guess actually, how do I know when the season reset is going to happen? In your Clipsidra trail here, you'll actually have a countdown of days until season reset. Now, I've actually just kicked into the end of season 1 on this free-to-play account. It tells you up here like when the ending is, Gate of Chaos season 1, and you've got kind of like a time of when that's going to happen. And you also find out how close you got to like the season exclusive stuff down the bottom right hand side here. I did actually stop playing the free-to-play account for a while, so I'm nowhere near in the mix, but you can kind of see how well you're doing against the season exclusive stuff bottom right. And then you also get this kind of like exchange shop, both for the season you're in, but then for next season as well, you'll get an exchange shop where you can buy things with your seasonal rewards. This is kind of like what you're working up towards in the game. So there's things like Heliite dice here, Worm Marrow, avatars, and things like that. Scrolls, there'll definitely be Scholar Scrolls, Apprentice Scrolls, and Master Scrolls for the next season. You definitely don't want to be buying things like Starlight dice in here, but this whole shop is kind of the reason for you trying to push in all these different areas for the seasonal rewards. So let's go back into that point I mentioned earlier then. Heroes. What's going to happen? Every hero that you've worked on and leveled up will be reset to level 1. Okay, that's the first thing to be aware of. And I get why some people are upset with that, but also I also kind of like it in a way. Like, there's things about the seasonal reset I think is a great idea, but I do appreciate the people that get frustrated with it, because you've worked all this time and effort to get your heroes up. The reason why I like it is because it's almost like, right, fresh start. I'm up against everybody on an even playing field, and then we're kind of like going again. But I can get the frustration of, I've done all this work and now everyone's been reset. So I kind of see both sides of it. Anyway, all of the heroes will be reset to level 1. And then in the new season, you're going to get new pairings of the elemental affinities. So every season this rotates, which means that you get new combos in terms of squads, which is fun. That's one of the best elements. Probably if they didn't do as much resetting, but just did some of these changes, people would appreciate the seasonal changes a ton more. Okay, I think so anyway. But either way, this is going to change up, and then you get new combos in the game. All your heroes go back to level 1. In terms of ability stuff, so obviously their abilities... Well, not obviously. Their abilities will remain scrolled if you scrolled them. Okay, so that's not something to worry about. In terms of skill upgrades, any one that you did for any rarity will stay. So you don't have to worry about, should I use scrolls in this season? Is it going to happen? If you've got scrolls left, then they also stay. So if you've got, you know, I don't know, 10 legendary scrolls somehow or whatever, I've got 9 sitting here which I haven't used, so I was kind of wondering what I was going to do with them. They will remain, and you can make choices in the new season based on potential new heroes that come through, that type of stuff. And if you have had any of your legendaries inspired, then obviously that stays as well. So anything like that is going to stay. Now, dice also stay, and it's quite worthwhile. I don't think I've got any on this account. No, I've got 0. It's quite worthwhile to hold on to Heliite dice for seasonal resets, because they do have some good banners going on where you get the new season heroes specifically on a banner in like the first period of time for the season. I think it's the first 2 weeks you get to go after a new season banner. And every season they bring in new exclusives, and some of those legendaries are top tier. So I can definitely see why people would hold Heliite dice Starlight dice, I guess the same really. You're going to get a whole bunch of new epics added to the game in the seasonal reset. You might be able to pick up the odd epic with your Starlight dice as well. So I think when you get to a certain point in the season, it's worth just holding the dice. Just checking my list. Did I miss anything on heroes? I think that's it for heroes. They reset. The scrolls are good, but the dice are not. Now, if we go into any form really of things that you farmed through the season, they basically disappear. So if you've gone and got yourself some really good gear, unfortunately that does go. In fact, gear sets completely change season to season. There's not many gear sets that remain completely the same. So and because of that, you obviously do a fresh start, a fresh farm of leveling, gear, all of that stuff. So gear goes, runes go as well. They're not going to be around anymore. Artifacts will remain. Okay, so you'll have your artifacts for the next season, but they will be reset to level 1 or 0. And you will get 70% back of the refinement material to re-level them once you've unlocked it for next season. So artifacts remain. Any of your food and consumables and stuff disappears. Pretty much anything in here for the pack materials will go that is based on you leveling people. So all of your psychic core stuff disappears. Any of your leveling crystal stuff, the gems, disappears. Any of your leveling pots, potions and that go. Yeah, most of this will go pretty much on this screen. All you will still see is scrolls. But yeah, basically everything else is gone in the bin. And then quest stuff, I think all disappears as well. I think it does. So most of the stuff, which is basically how you empower your heroes, disappears completely, apart from artifacts, which just get reset to level 1. And as I say, you get some of that stuff back. I guess if you want to get like a full breakdown of what happens on a seasonal reset, you can come into the Ipsaja Trail here and go into the reset rules. And it does break it down pretty well in this page, in terms of basically the things that I've just said, where you're gonna sort of benefit, where you're not. Because obviously when you get into a new season, you then farm up a whole bunch of the stuff again, and you're able to kind of rebuild your psychic core in the way that you want based on the heroes now that you're going to invest in for this season. Yeah, and obviously over time you kind of rebuild all of those heroes back up and get going again on a new season reset. So I guess let me know, what do you think of seasonal resets in this style of game? Would you change the way Dragonheir do it to improve for you the kind of like quality of the game experience? And maybe I'll do a separate video on that once I've had a kind of real think about what I would change. I would change elements of it, but yeah, maybe I'll do that as a separate video. Anyway, there you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.